We went, I feel like in software development terms, we went from like a waterfall approach to that agile approach to DevOps. And now here we are talking about DevSecOps. How far along are we? Is this, is there wide adoption? What are the critical obstacles that you would note to really making this the standard? Because it's been such a fast evolution in terms of how we approach software development, if you really think about it.
Yeah, I don't think we're even more than halfway there on DevOps.
Yeah.
So DevSecOps is following that. So it's kind of interesting because people just think that development, like someone from my part of the organization put out a contest, and the contest was essentially designed to illustrate how shocking it is that we have so many development teams at Comcast. There's over 600 development teams at Comcast, wow. Separate, unique, individual development teams. And so they said, guess, and we'll have a $50 Amazon gift card prize. And, it'll be put your number in the hat, and the person who gets closest to the number wins. Except they worded the contest, how many DevOps teams we have. And I said to them, do you mean DevOps teams, or do you mean development teams, including DevOps teams? And that person said to me, what do you mean? They're the same, right? I'm like, no, you're not DevOps if you don't trust your pipeline. And a lot of folks don't even have a pipeline, never mind fully trust it to invalidate an artifact before it goes to production, a bad artifact before it gets into production. And I still think we're down in the teens to maybe low 20s of teams. And that's my one question survey, is to determine how DevOps you really are, whether you're cargo cult DevOps or whether you're true DevOps. And the one question survey is, for what percentage of your products do you trust that your gauntlet, your pipeline, will invalidate a bad artifact before it gets to production? And if they say for almost all of them, then they're DevOps. If they say none, then they're not even started. If they say 20, 25%, 50%, then they're on the journey and they're not very far. But the one thing I have found is that you really don't get the benefits until you get close to the 80, 90%. I mean, and I've got research that shows this. The talk I published at the RSA conference has one really interesting sort of tidbit. The teams that claim to be at Actions, in terms of maturity, we have this progression of maturity from thoughts to words to actions to culture. And teams that get to Actions, that's 3/4 of the way there, right? Thoughts, words, actions, culture, right? Teams that get to Actions are no better really than teams that are at words and thoughts. And it's that leap from actions to culture, meaning it's really how we think, it's really how we do business, is really the key. And so you got to get pretty far down the road before you get to that. And so I think a lot of teams answer that one question survey with some number in the 50% range, and it really means they've got a lot longer than 50% of the way to go till they get there. And never mind security, that sort of follows on DevOps. Sometimes a team will onboard to our DevSecOps program, and I'll be like, you first need to onboard to the DevOps program. You need to get a pipeline. You need to have automated testing. Come back to us when you do that. That's a higher priority than the security testing.